All right, folks, Vitek here from Wani, and with us today we have one and only Nick Beggs. How you doing?
I'm very well. Good to be with you.
I'm going to start with a very simple question for you. Tardigrades will inherit the Earth. How
Yes.
long for that to happen?
You want me to put a time on the annihilation of mankind?
Exactly.
Well, I think it's a slow, inexorable demise. We're doing a good job because we've appointed a bunch of idiots to run us, look after us, and to make sure that we screw each other over. We are destroying the environment and polluting the atmosphere, and using fissile materials to give us energy. We're tearing up and throwing away all the climate change agreements that we had in place. So I think probably within the next 100 years, things will start to become pretty untenable for us.
So we got 100 years timeline left.
Yeah, I would say the next 100 years. I think it'll start to become really uncomfortable.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing the effects right now, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, it's been 1 year since the first album came out, and there was a time when you toured a lot with Steven and you wrote this album, you recorded it, mixed. Are the creative juices flowing extremely since the debut album?
Yes, I guess I took the bait and I can't stop running. You might say I've got the scent. It's very compelling, and I have my sights on quite a lot of pertinent subject matter. There's so much to write about in terms of where we're at, where we're going, my opinions on it. So yes, I think the creative juices are flowing quite well. I would like to have a third album out within a year. I've started working on that already. Well, I hope so. Unless anything happens where unless I don't come up with enough good material for it. But I wrote the first record 3 times, and I wrote the second record twice. So maybe with the third one, I'll get it right first time. You never know.
That's good to hear that. And with this album, you've gone pretty much dark. I mean, it's insanely dark. There's a lot of heavy music in it, and it's definitely, it looks extremely different than the debut one. What prompted you to take this decision to write more darker, more heavier music this time on the album?
I think it's concurrent with the way we're going socially, politically, spiritually. I think we're in a darker place. The world has become a darker, more stupid place since I released the first album. And so with that trend in mind, get ready for Bleaksville as the third album.
Mm-hmm. So you have a sort of an idea in mind, like you've been. I remember we discussing the first album when you said, obviously, you had to write it 3 times, and obviously the thought process you had at that with respect to what's happening in the world, and a year after we have another one. So is there a sort of chain in your mind which you want to link all these 3 albums? Let's say more like a trilogy of what's happening year after year.
Possibly. Of course, it's hard to know specifically because I'm responding to events as I write them at the time, and I feel that one of the unifying things throughout it musically is the central core trio of Marco Minnemann, myself, and Roger King, and then particularly on the first album it was augmented by other players, but on the second album it's mainly just the three of us. Yes, I mean my daughter Lula joins us on one song, and Roger's daughter Lorna joins us on one song, but other than that, it's all us, and I think that helps to give a cohesion to the overall sound. The artwork, the album covers, will follow a similar path of the Mirrorhead Man, because I think it's a very strong metaphor, makes quite a strong statement, and so it seems to have taken on a life of its own almost.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of focus on the instrumental section on this album. I mean, there's a lot of focus, not just from with the vocals and everything, but let me take an example of a song like the Andromeda Strain, or even the heavier parts in the Dumbing of the Stupid. So you have a lot of heavy guitar work, and a lot of solos on this, a lot of keyboard parts. So focus is more on the instrumental section on this as compared to what I heard on the debut album.
Yes, I mean, and most of that stuff is not guitar. Most of it's Chapman stick. The instrumental sections, there may be more of them, but I think they're not as long on this album. I think there might be longer instrumental sections on the first album, but they're kind of more punctuating. I think they give moments of reflection or act as segues between passages or different songs.
Absolutely, and a song like Animal Army is for me, it's the most interesting one on the album. It's got this absolute madness with the dark tones, making it like one hell of a song. What was the thought process when you started writing this song in general?
It's a scream from the biosphere. It's the animal kingdom turning around and saying, "Look at those stupid apes. They think that they're divine. They think that they're sons of angels. They're sons of apes, and they're just destroying the world. Let's take it back from them. We can't put up with this any longer. They come out of their caves, and they're just bewildering us. So we've got to stop them before they destroy us." That's the essence of that.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear how Roger blends his tunes on this, and when Marco, obviously, his brilliance. There's obviously, I sometimes doubt whether he's an alien, to be honest, because he just goes berserk. And you worked with him for a long time. So how was the collaboration this time? I know most of the music is written by you. So what was Roger's contribution and Marco's on this as compared to the first one?
Well, everything that Marco does is effortless.
Yeah, no doubt.
He just, I send him. Marco will turn these songs around in 48 hours. Everything. And on top of that, he will add additional guitar parts as well. So there's a few places on the album where Marco is playing secondary or third part guitars, which work beautifully.
And I dig his stuff with LMR, what he does with Rudis and even Tony Levin. And he plays guitar in that project as well.
Yes, he does. He really does. I mean, it's just great to have his contribution. He always puts a twist on the song, which I always know is going to happen, but I don't know how it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I can never really anticipate. In the same way as he will turn the rhythm around, in a second, and then put it right back where he found it. He does it so beautifully, and I think that's one of the great things about a power trio, where you have a drummer who is always pushing the envelope. It's a tremendous thing, and he said to me, "I really enjoyed this project. I really enjoy working on this stuff, and it's so effortless for him." And Roger and I tend to have a longer, more considered relationship during the course of the record making, because we're discussing what's working and what's not. I will write the songs and I will send the files to him, and then he will critique it on many levels and change what he thinks should be changed. And if he changes things that I don't want him to, I'll ask him to change it back. But usually what he does is much better, makes it work better. He's very good at that. He's one of Roger's incredible consistent gifts, apart from fantastic production value, is he is very good at writing counter melodies. So where I have a melody and I'm singing it, or it might even be a stick part or a guitar part, he will write a supporting line which will make more of the lead line.
That's really cool to hear, because look, from the record point of view, you guys don't focus on the technicality or writing the most complex arrangement. The Mute God isn't about that. What it's about is having that straightforward, in-your-face composition, which has a raw and it with great transition and not a very simple structure which easily connects. Maybe
Yes.
some of the instrumental section go a bit, in terms of how your vision is, but your focus is mainly on writing songs which have a good structure and make sense. Every note makes sense instead of just going technical side. Is that something which you always focus on instead of, because you as a musician have worked on various genres, not just rock music. So is it something you completely focus on to avoid any of the technicalities on this record with respect to odd time signatures or anything of that sort?
I think a good car should run effortlessly.
Right.
Um, and just because it's effortlessly doesn't mean that it's complex under the hood. If you look at the engine of what goes on in the songs, I think there's a lot going on. I think it is quite complicated in places, but it shouldn't be complicated for the sake of it. My daughter put it very succinctly. She said to me, "You love all this progressive music and you play with all these incredible progressive artists, but when it comes down to it, you're a pop songwriter.
Right.
You're a pop." She said, "You can't help yourself. It seems to be in your DNA." And it is, because I listened to progressive music when I was growing up, and I still listen to it, and I love it. But I had to cut my teeth as a professional writing pop songs, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have been able to make a living. It's a bit like jazz. Jazz is really very serious stuff, and it really takes a lot of understanding. It's so hard to make a living doing that stuff. It really is. And there's virtually no marketplace for a jazz artist unless you're somebody like Pat Metheny, who had to reinvent jazz and have created his own style for him to make money out of it. And Miles Davis even said jazz wasn't big when it was big. It wasn't famous when it was famous. But the thing is with songs, for me, it's you can patronize an audience or you can go above their heads. And I think you've got to get it just right. You've got to give an audience something that they can relate to, both melodically and lyrically. And I'd love to be. I might throw some more complex stuff in on the next record, because I know it pleases some people, and I do like it. And there's some complex stuff on the first album, but I'm a songwriter, and at the end of the day, you should be able to get it over with 3 chords.
Right. Definitely, and you know, as we are discussing about your in the pop side of it, but it's wonderful to see how you have worked with the pop artists, you worked with Steven, and none of these reflect in your music, which is absolutely which is really great, because you bring out a different tone, you have your own style, and it's a complete contrast to, like I said, to Wilson or even Steve Hackett, to be precise. So
Well, thank you, thank you. I think that's important. I don't think it's a good idea to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is working really well. Everybody has them. I think they want something different.
would want to hear this live. I'm sure there are fans out there who listened to the first album are going to listen to the second as well, and would want to hear it live. If not with Marco or Roger, maybe you on stage solo with some backing tracks.
Well, I know I wouldn't do that. I would only do it with a full live band, and I would do it with the trio and augment it with a guitarist who also has a good backing vocal. Somebody like Dave Kilminster.
Cool, that's wonderful. I know, over the period of time since the first and now, you have Brexit that has happened in UK, and you have pretty much expressed a lot since then. So, for you being based out in UK, as a musician, has this impacted as of today, or do you see any impact in the future?
Yes, I think it's impacted on us all in the UK. I think we've been astonished at the stupidity of people, the short-sightedness of them, the xenophobia, and we wonder why. What is there so much to be frightened about? If you look at things in the cold light of day, we've brought this on ourselves. We're the one who've bombed these people. We're the ones who've made them hate us so much. We're the ones who've sold the arms to all these other countries who've bombed them. And so when they've got no houses left, why should we be surprised that they want to come and live at our house? What did we expect? What did we think would happen? What was the best possible outcome of those situations? But no, what we want to play this game of, no, we didn't do it. It's not our responsibility. And it just makes me angry, because it is our responsibility. We are responsible.
Absolutely, and it's completely true. And with Trump getting the administration, it's showing you can see what's happening in the world right now in just in just even 1 week. So many things have changed.
I don't blame terrorists for hating us. I hate us too, because we have fucked them over real bad, and we're fucking ourselves. We'll fuck everybody over because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to us is money.
True.
And it's a searing indictment that we want to now pull the ladder up on the rest of the world. It's hilarious.
Absolutely, that's true. And currently you're working with Wilson as well. How's the album shaping up? I'm loving what I hear with Ninette also joining in. So how's the session going on so far?
Well, the album is going to be great. Of course, you'd expect it to be.
True.
He's done a great job on writing a whole bunch of new stuff, which has aspects of the old, but definitely something new. He's signed to a new record label. He's signed to new management. He's in a very positive place, and I think everybody could be very excited about this next record.
Awesome, and obviously with Marco not being there, or even the guitar Guthrie not being there, it looks like the entire focus has come on you and obviously Steven to write most of the guitar parts. Because as far as what I heard, he doesn't want to go with an additional guitarist anymore.
Well, he does. He has Dave Kilminster in the band.
Yeah, I saw you guys in India. I am in Bangalore right now.
Yes. Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely. It was my first experience of seeing you guys with Dave, because the last time I saw you guys was in Hanover last winter when the first set of Hands Cannot Erase tour started. But being at home, seeing you guys live was phenomenal. I'm sure you had a great time. I was watching you right there in front of the stage.
Oh, I had 2 visits to India there. The first time I've ever been. It was just incredible. What a great country, an amazing country, with so much color and variant, so many contradictions as well, which from the West is extraordinary. It's over-facing. But I think we're going to be spending a lot more time there.
That would be awesome. And so if you had to sum up, the record in a sentence, Tardigrades in a sentence, what would you say?
It's an acknowledgement of mankind's fragility, stupidity, and impending demise.
Pretty much, and as we discussed throughout the interview. Well, thanks. All right, Nick, you have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you someday in India again with Steven.
I look forward to it. Thank you for your time.